ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्ति भेद विभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नित्यं शुद्धं निराभासं निराकारं निरञ्जनं नित्यबोधं चिदानन्दं गुरुं ब्रह्म नमाम्यहम्। So last time we had seen it's because of ignorance of oneself and the other, or oneself or the other, the problem is there. Irrespective of what the other does, irrespective of what the other is, still I should not have a problem. But if I have a problem, the problem is not with the other, the problem is with me. We are not talking about those extreme or rare cases where somebody physically assaults you, hurts you. And that issue is not at all an issue. Because we are bound by our day-to-day problems. And the day-to-day problems that I am shackled by are all within me, not from outside. So, it is my evaluation of you that creates a problem for me. I have a conclusion A is such, and that A happens to be someone in line with what I want. He seems to be a cozy, nice, happy guy, whereby I can just happily get along. Then there is a movement towards A, and by any chance the evaluation is that A is not conducive to me, it's not an okay person for me, I start withdrawing from A, or I start running away, moving away from it. In Sanskrit, I'll just use few words, Sanskrit words. Not that we're going into the spiritual thing right now. There is a certain pravritti on the part of the individual. If it's all liked by me, if the person is liked by me, cherished by me, is an okay person, then there's a pravritti, there's a movement towards a person. And if the conclusion is that this person is not an okay person, there is a nivritti from the person. There is a withdrawal from the person, automatically bringing in a sense of repulsion, revulsion. So what is wrong with that? There's a pravritti and nivritti. If that pravritti and nivritti is purely a product of my understanding, if that pursuit towards a thing or a pursuit away from the thing or withdrawal from the thing is born of understanding, then there's no problem. Like, there's something very attractive and then you want to touch it, somebody tells you that's fire, you just take your hand back. Or there is some nice liquid, very tasty, and then, no, not tasty, it smells nice, it's not repulsive, and then you are told it's ice cream. And generally, ice is nice and creams are dreams, and therefore what? You want an ice cream, and therefore you go towards it. And then somebody says, even as you're about to eat it, somebody says, Swami, there is a drop of potassium cyanide in that. You just withdraw from that. That withdrawal is not a problem. In fact, that withdrawal is a blessing in disguise. Why? The understanding that there is potassium cyanide there, and what's going to happen if I take, I'm going to die, and I don't want to die for whatever reason, I don't want to die right now. Well, if it happens to come, that's a different issue. But then, I don't want to die right now, so I withdraw. Any sensible man will do it. Unless a person wants to commit suicide. So therefore, understanding bond movement or understanding bond movement towards, understanding bond withdrawal from the thing, that pravritti and nivritti is not at all a problem. But that pursuit towards a thing and the withdrawal from the thing, if it is born of my own conclusions, my own ignorance, then it becomes a reaction, and this pravritti and nivritti, pursuit towards a thing and withdrawal from the thing, if they are reactions, they shackle me, they bind me. And therefore, when I am living in this world, whether I like or not, I have conclusions about myself, I have conclusions about me. So last time we were saying, should I live with those conclusions, or should all my actions be products of that conclusion? The conclusions will have an effect, an impact on the individual. When I am not conscious, it may some way escape and come out of me. But it's not going to be a regular feature. I need not make it a regular feature. I am blessed with certain resources. One of the resources happens to be memory. The other resource is the capacity to fancy, plan, project, imagine. And I've also got a capacity called decision thinking. So therefore, these three powers are there. One is the memory, the other is the capacity to fancy, to project, to imagine, etc. And then there's a capacity to decide, analyze, probe, inquire, look into. My conclusions about myself, they're all there in the memory. My conclusions about you, they are there in the memory. Whether they are in the surface level or deep within doesn't really matter, but they are recorded in the memory. So in the data banks, already information has gone inside. Now when I am living, this thought comes up. What is the thought that comes up? So and so is like this, or this is like that. I am like this. Now, do I allow the memory to sweep me off the feet? Or can I say, I don't know? Let me look into it. Do I have the options? Like all the softwares, they have an option there. Similarly, do I have an option? If I am a programmed person, then it's a different issue. But then, if I am not programmed, I do have an option. Unfortunately, though I do enjoy this option, something happens within me as a result of which the options do not come at the operational level. I know it's good, but I still don't do it. I know it's bad, but still I don't refrain from it. Don't ask me what's good and bad. You have concluded a thing is good for whatever reason. And naturally you should do it. But unfortunately you can't do it. You have concluded a certain thing is bad. Again, don't ask me why it's bad. You have concluded you are the right person to decide what is right for you or wrong for you. You have decided it is wrong, bad. But unfortunately, you commit yourself to that. And then afterwards you have regrets and guilt. That's a different problem. You're not bothered about it. Why is it when I say it is good, I can't do it? Why is it I say it's bad, but I can't refrain from it? Why is it an action pattern I like to come out of me, but still I don't allow it? Why is it a reaction pattern that I do not want to emanate out of me, comes out of me? If you start looking into it, maybe I am not cool and composed. Maybe the person is not cool and composed. If the person is cool and composed, then whatever the person decides, he should be able to at least make some inroad. Whether he is successful or not, we are not bothered. how much he is putting forth, that also we are not bothered. But there should be some, what do you call, the manifestation of that person's intention. But unfortunately, it's not happening. Why? Maybe the individual is caught up. I am caught up. The memory is no more available to at my disposal. The memory has already caught me up, trapped me, and then afterwards, I am in the hands of memory. I am in the hands of the past. This makes some people say knowledge belongs to the past, and therefore as long as you are depending upon the knowledge, you are going to depend upon the past. Not necessary. Yes, certain forms of information, they all belong to the past. But knowledge does not necessarily mean it should always be the past. I am. I got the knowledge of I am. The moment I say what I am, memory can be there. But that I am, memory is not there. It's only perception. You are come. I am sitting. You are aware of this act. So always to say that knowledge belongs to the past is not right. So therefore this individual, he is there, the memories are there, the memory should be available for the individual. Unfortunately, the memory has taken away the individual, swept away the individual, carried away the individual. Why did it happen? Is it memory has got that much strength to pack me and take me away? It's after all my memory. Like, you have the discs there, and you have got your memory like in your hard drive, or maybe you got a RAM memory. Similarly here too, memory is there, just a chip there. There must be a person who uses that. So that means the memory should be available for me, should be at my disposal. That individual being swept away, he is not available. Most probably what has happened is, we are busy building castles in the air. We are busy spinning, projecting. We are busy all the time building structures. It's become almost a habit. And then a conclusion about a person, and then you start building the structures. A conclusion about me, and then I start building structures about me. I can build structures about me, or I can build structures about you. Similarly, you can also do the same thing. And as long as the structures are being built, it looks as though still some control is in my hands. But once a structure is built, then I find all controls have gone away from me. I am a helpless tool in the hands of the structure that I have built. I have concluded A is like that. And once the structure is built and concluded, it becomes very difficult. For me, of course, I can handle it. But then it becomes much difficult. Supposing I am busy building the structure, I say, shut up. No, being Canadian, I can't say shut up. My mind, will you please shut up? Will you be kind enough to please shut up? If the mind is halted at that time, then that much problem will not be there. Anyhow, all those things are separate issues. You have concluded that that person is like this. Is that person really like that? I have concluded A is like that, or I have concluded I am like that. Am I really like that? What, like what? As I have concluded. Am I a useless person? Am I a turkey? Am I a fit for nothing? Am I an unlucky person? Am I a miserable person? Am I a failure, as we saw last time? things are manifest. And I start evaluating based on what is manifest, without knowing what is there behind it. Somebody was telling me last time, Swamiji, the lecture should always be like a sandwich. Top layer, in between layer, and then bottom layer. Whatever is manifest is a top layer. The seen is a top layer. The unseen, two other layers are there. And it all depends what sort of sandwich it is. The second layer could be a bigger layer. All this filling up, etc., etc., etc. Or the last one could be much more crunchy. So there's lot more to me than what I think myself to be. There's lot more to you than what I think you to be. At any point of time, supposing I say, I don't know, let me look into it. That doesn't mean to say I take things for granted. My own fears are there. I'm aware of that. At the same time, I say, I don't know, let me see. Last time it happened. But it need not continue. So therefore, I think I know everything about myself, and I know everything about the other. No, but I've seen that, Swamiji. A interacted like this, not only I saw, it is not purely my evaluation. Ask this guy, ask the other guy, all of us saw that. What did we see? We saw a response pattern. But you didn't see what is the stimulus there. Whether it's the other or myself, there is only a response pattern that I have seen. But what triggered that response? What was the stimulus? No, I just said, hi, how are you? And the person became so wild. Maybe the way you said that. Maybe the place where you said that. And maybe something else might have been put into that person's head, as a result of which that person had reacted at that time in that way. Maybe, had I said, all right, that happened. Had I spoken to the person, casually taken the person away and then aside, and then casually spoken to the person and asked, what happened? Did I hurt you anyway? Because I felt that I have hurt you. Because the way you spoke. So, by any chance if I have hurt you. Then the truth does come out. That is so far as the other is concerned. So far as I am concerned, why did I react that way? What did the person see? No, I felt the person was questioning me. No, the person asked a question. To ask a question is different from questioning you. So I have concluded. Some response pattern was there, and taking that response pattern, I label myself. So therefore, only some things are known, and even those some things that are known could be triggered by other factors, so many factors. That means what? It need not be the same next moment. That need not be the truth of me. That need not be the truth of you. That's not me. What's me? That's not what is you. I can always start with a clean slate. But unfortunately, the conclusions that I've gone, I have given so much reality to the conclusions until at last it becomes very difficult for a person to come out of it. So therefore, conclusions are only conclusions. They are not the fact. As we saw last time, your conclusions are your conclusions and my conclusions are my conclusions. Unfortunately, I can't say your knowledge and my knowledge. Well, even if you say your knowledge, you're only talking in terms of your conclusion and my conclusion. I can't say, how much is 2 plus 2? You say 2 plus 2 is 4. That is my knowledge. You should not use it. Patented. Knowledge does not belong to any particular individual. And therefore, my conclusions are purely mine and they are all born of ignorance. I don't know what I am. Somewhere we'll have to come to this topic, who really I am. I think this physical person is me, and all this mind stuff is indeed me, thought stuff is indeed me, and these are all fixed, etc., etc., etc. As a result of this, the problem is that I am not this. Somewhere we have to come to spirituality. I think we'll speak about it sometime later. So therefore, if I understand I am not what I think myself to be, the seen is something and the seer is something else. The seer is not the seen. The knower is not the known. And even whatever is known need not be everything, as we saw. It's only a fraction of what is there. And thus, if we can understand that there's an individual who is handling, the resources are there, memories are there, capacities are there, capabilities are there, and these capacities, these capabilities manifest when the conditions are right. And maybe whatever has come out manifested is because of certain things. And whatever is lying unmanifest is lot more. Just as insofar as I am concerned, so many things are there. Similarly, insofar as you are concerned, so many things are there. Certain things manifest, certain things lot more unmanifest. And therefore, I have no right to conclude about myself or about you. Then what should I do? I have concluded. Understand the conclusion to be only a conclusion. What if wishes were horses, donkeys would ride them. I thought it is like that, but it need not be. In fact, more often than not, it will not be. There can be perceptions which are subjective, and there could be perceptions which are objective. And most of my conclusions are subjective. The conclusions could be relative, all right. That's a different topic. We're not talking about it. It could be subjective. It could be my interpretation of myself. I don't know. Let me look. So the more and more I push aside the past and look at what is there, I'm not telling you don't allow the past to come. The past would be there. The memories would be there. And the more and more you try to avoid the past coming in, the more and more the past comes in. Let the past be there. Understand that's a past. That's the information you have. But that need not be true. It seems there was a person, a king. He was bald. And then he didn't find himself comfortable seeing that, Well, we have very peculiar people. Lot of hair, one problem. Combing, etc., etc., etc. And Bhagavan, Lord decides, no, less headache, I'll make you bald. Again, I have got problems. And then start hair weaving, etc. So this king had a big problem. He was getting bald. And he was almost bald, completely bald. So he called out of all the Ayurvedic doctors, all the doctors. And the Ayurvedic doctors also there. All of you should treat my baldness. And unfortunately, what happens, these Pandits were all Brahmins. Ayurvedic Pandits are all Brahmins. They said, it's better we leave the place earlier before we get caught. They used their brains, they just went away. There was one person who was there, he was also a Brahmin. Maybe he was doing his daily anushtanam and all properly. So he was sharp. And then he said, all right, let me go and meet the king. The king asks, see, you have to treat my baldness. Can you treat it? I said, oh yes. This man says, I can do it. But only thing is, I want all the material. The king says, all right, you have the material. Then he put a big list. White tiger's milk, white elephant something else. I tell you, it took a long time to get the medicines, to get the material. In the meantime, the king ordered this doctor should be in the palace as a guest. So he was enjoying his nice time because all pleasures, of the palace. Then finally, the right time, the king got wild, impatient. He said, when are you going to make it? I am going to make it on the full moon night. Because you want your head to be full. So the full moon night, I'll prepare the medicine. Then it was prepared. A few years passed by. Then the doctor presents the medicine to the king and says, my medicine will work only on one condition. So what's that condition? You should not think about a potato when applying the medicine. Hey, that's simple, he said. When he was applying the medicine, he remembered what? I should not remember potato. So don't try to avoid your memories. The more and more you try to avoid the memory, you want to forget it, it's going to come right in front. Memories are only memories. I'm informed, all right, but that need not be everything. Let me look into. So therefore, memories have got their own role to play. The most important thing is, why is memory there? Why am I blessed with a memory? It's not for me to get caught up, to be bound, to be suffocated. Memory is also a tool. If I want to fancy, I can fancy only when memory is there. Is it like this or like this? Should I do it this way or that way? Is this better than that, or is that better than this? All the pros and cons, where they are there, that's fancy. And that fancy can be possible only when the memory is there. And as much strong the memory is there, that much the fancying can be possible. Not necessarily that just because you got strong memories, fancying should be there. But if memories are not there, fancying would not be there. And therefore, yes, memory helps in fancying. But why do I require fancying? So that I can decide. So this capacity, that power to decide is given to me. But why is that power given? So that I can act. Action always presupposes a decision. And the decision can be possible only when there is a fancying. Fancying is possible only when memories are there. Well, all that is possible only when I am there. Therefore, I am there, memories are there. I need not allow the memory to carry me. Another problem is going to be there. More often than I start fancying. This also turns out to be a problem. Like memory turns out to be a problem. Conclusions turn out to be a problem. My fancying also turns out to be a problem. We might have seen a lot of people, children, teenagers, they're busy preparing timetable. This week what I should do. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then next week you see the person busy preparing the timetable. Is it last week you prepared the time? No, that timetable was not good, Dad. This timetable, is going to work better. Prepare the timetable. And every time you are only bettering the timetable, busy Planning, fancying, not even planning. Fancying. One gets caught up in the fancies. One gets caught up in the memories. Without understanding, fancying should only help me decide the right course of action. In order to decide, I am given this capacity to fancy. These are all terms which we'll have to use, Sanskrit terms we have to use. Fancying capacity it belongs to the mind. And recollection belongs to the recollective faculty. In Sanskrit, you have this word chittam. And for the recollective faculty, and mind is called manaha. And the faculty decision, the deciding faculty, the faculty of choice, where you decide, ascertain, probe, that is all called buddhi. So an individual is given the intellect, buddhi, though it might not be an exact translation of the word. Then one is endowed with the mind, and one is endowed with memory. We get caught up in the memory and think this is all that I am. Problem. Second problem is fancy. That also turns out to be a problem. And the third problem is probing. We always hear this. Swamiji, I don't know, this person all the time is thinking, Swamiji. Every time thinking, only all thinking. Too much of thinking. There's nothing like too much of thinking. When you cannot all the time think. Anyhow, let us see what is thinking and all in the next session. Thinking is logical placement of thoughts in a logical sequence, in a chain pattern, aiming at negation of doubts, vagueness, errors around the thing and seeing the truth of the thing. So once the truth of the thing is seen, the thinking should stop. Choicelessly it should stop. Another thing might be there shrouded in doubts, vagueness and errors. Again you start thinking. But you cannot think all the time. You can think too much about you. That's a different issue. Assuming yes. You can think too much about yours, but you can never think too much about a thing. You can only think as long as the thing is shrouded. Once the thing becomes clear, there's nothing to think about it. Unless you want to connect it with things associated with it and then start thinking. Therefore, mind is also one of the instruments. If possible, we'll try to look in the next lecture about the mind, and then we can go into the intellect, the buddhi. These are the three personalities that the human being has got. Then somewhere down the road, we can see, why are these three powers given to me? For carrying on the transactions in this world. Is that all that's there? Why did I ever come into this world? That's another important question. Maybe sometime later we'll have to get into that. Why did I ever come? Having come, what is my job here? And in order to achieve the task, what are the tools that are given to me? Then I'll discover these are the three tools given to me so that I can achieve the tasks for which I have come. What is the task and what we shall try to see sometime later. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.